Many wild animals simply cannot be tamed by humans, that is their nature. But our story today proves that there is always an exception to every rule and that love can work wonders. The story took place in a small town. An elderly woman had lived alone for many years. Her children had long since grown up and left, and her grandchildren rarely visited her. To distract herself from loneliness, she often went for walks, admired nature, and fed the birds. On one of these walks, the kind old woman found a small kitten under a tree. It was meowing plaintively, probably very hungry and very cold. The woman took pity on it and took it home with her. She fed it milk, meat, and everything she ate herself. The kitten began to grow incredibly fast. The elderly woman was very pleased with this, as if it were not a cat but a child who had reappeared in her home. It often sat on her lap and purred loudly. Soon it became so big that it no longer fit in her arms, but the old woman saw nothing unusual in this. She thought it had grown so much from homemade food and good care. Despite the fact that it had grown larger than the largest domestic cat, for her, it was still the same sweet, little, hungry kitten. No one would have ever known about this story if it had not been for an incident that made the elderly woman and yukata famous. One early morning, the cat's owner went for her usual walk, leaving him sleeping soundly in the closet. He loved to sleep there, curled up in a ball in his mistress, but that day his sleep was disturbed. 3 local alcoholics had been watching the woman's house for a long time, thinking they could find something valuable in it. That day, as soon as the woman left, uninvited guests broke into the dwelling and began to turn everything upside down. One of them opened the closet where the woman's beloved pet was sleeping sweetly, hoping to find treasures there, but instead a strange creature suddenly jumped out at him. The man was doomed. He fell to the floor and was instantly killed. A second robber ran to see what the commotion in the room was, and the huge cat attacked him as well. The man barely managed to get out. The third simply ran away. When the woman returned from her walk, she was shocked by what she saw and immediately called the police. The officers who arrived at the scene simply froze in place, afraid to enter. It turned out that the woman's huge cat was not just a cat, but a wild, predatory beast. In nature, this fluffy killer is called a manul. These cats are very dangerous and cannot be tamed. When the police saw it, they forgot the reason for the call and were already going to shoot the animal, but the woman did not let them do this. She picked up her pet and began to stroke it. The cat did not resist, but on the contrary, it snuggled its muzzle into her armpit and lay there peacefully. How did it happen that a wild manul was so close to civilization? How did a lonely woman manage to tame this animal? Because it has long been known that manuls cannot be tamed. All this remains a mystery, but one thing is clear. The kind and sensitive attitude of a person towards an animal, the great love that this woman gave, created a real miracle.